When Dobie and Joanne asked me to talk about my deck, I agreed to do it only because even after 9 months, I come out and it still hits me. I love my deck.
Yeah, I've had wooden decks before, and really the maintenance, I think, was the problem. And a lot of times the engineering was part of the problem with some of the other decks that I'd had. So I did a lot of background on the new materials that were coming out. I attended home shows, garden shows, all the local areas that were putting on decks for advertisement stuff, and I ran across Franklin, and Dobie was very pleasant to work with, but I liked his engineering background, and after looking at products that he had finished is one of the selling points.
We called and got bids on from several different companies, and they were very competitive and took us to see some work. He took us to see some work that he had done, and it was very well done. The workmanship was great, and it was very, very beautiful. So,
well, after I bought the house, in consideration of the fantastic view here, decided to contact Franklin & Sons and discuss building a deck. As the project progressed, we made a few changes here and there to be flexible. The color scheme was selected based on the surrounding environment, the rocks and the trees, and the scheme that they came up with was one that I was very well pleased with.
My name is Merrill Vogel. We live here in South Tulsa. I'm standing on a deck that was built about 2.5, 3 years ago by Franklin & Sons. And one of the first things that I noticed was Dobie Franklin came over with his wife. And you know what? That always adds a nice touch. They came over as a couple, and both Dobie and his wife shared, their thoughts and ideas about a deck. Dobie was not afraid of customization and not afraid of the time it would take to build such a deck. These were our objectives in building our deck. The cost needed to be reasonable. We knew the deck would not be built overnight, so we wanted good, ethical contractors that we knew we can have a relationship with over time. We wanted a deck with low maintenance. Everyone's lives are busy, so we didn't want to have any more termite issues, painting issues, or replacing boards. We did not want a standard deck. We wanted a deck that would require some customization. We wanted a deck that, we have 5 children, and we wanted a deck that would be fun, that would be useful, and that we would enjoy.
But after talking with Dobie, he came out and had some ideas that I just loved. And then I inserted some of the ideas that I had of stepping up for the hot tub. And then we wanted the glass around the south and the west edges of the deck so we'd have a windbreak during the cooler days of the year. Dobie helped me quite a bit because I was just going to lay the boards out, wanted them out straight, and then he came in with all the designs, putting the foundation back down under this was tremendous.
I designed the shape of the deck, and he came in and he made suggestions and changes and added angles until we came up with something that we agreed on. And of course he had ideas I hadn't thought of. For instance, the benches that you see and the lighting that goes underneath. At night, every edge is lit from lighting that they installed when they put in the deck. Well, the construction began, and I have been in a position to watch construction in several places where I've lived, and I just have to say that right off the bat, Dobie's crew is tidy, which was extremely important to me.
Part of our deck is treated wood. Part of our deck is the composite that Franklin installed, and on the composite deck, it's perfect. It's put in with screws. There's no warpage, no splinters. When you walk on it with bare feet, it feels great. On the wood portion of our deck, I've got nails starting to come up. I've got to worry about splinters. Just a matter of time, and we'll replace the whole deck with the composite, and Dobie Franklin will do the work.
Having a deck built on on a bluff where you're 16 feet high and 30 feet out, structural integrity is very important, especially when you have family and friends over. You want to make sure that the deck is stable, and I can rest assured that you could probably land a helicopter on this deck.
This deck has just added to help make our backyard a haven and a vacation spot that we can enjoy. They really put their heart and soul into it, a lot of pride in their work, and so it just made us all the more comfortable in choosing them as our contractor to build a deck.
We have 4 oak trees that surround this deck, and as you know about oak trees, there's always acorns and plenty of leaves in the fall, but it's very simple the way the design of the deck is for me to just take my leaf blower and blow it off very simply. I would highly recommend that Dobie and his company build a deck for you. To me, he's very professional, his engineering background, everything has just worked out perfect for me. I'm very satisfied, and I'm a very picky person when it comes to my home.